As of the 27th of October, Tenerife in Spain are the worst club sitting rock bottom. Despite being in the second tier over 10 years now, this is concerning for the league's historians. As just like with Bromley, bottom of the EFL, we go to Spain to try and save the worst Spanish club. As my job sounds simple, but it's actually very complicated to take the worst team to the best in Spain, beat the likes of Barca, beat the likes of Madrid, and eventually make it the world's best team. As yes people, a new challenge, we take our manager to Spain to repeat what he did with Bromley. And if you haven't seen that rebuild, I highly recommend it, as we're rebuilding this team and I don't know about the age of it. Is this a young team? As we've got some very good rated players, like a 23 Cruz, and oh no, they're not young. Yeah, the majority of the good ratings are actually a little bit on the old side, but it just adds to the challenge, as let's see what our budget is. It is 2 million, right? That should be good in our division. Only for season 1, then I do want it to shoot up. Oh, and also, I didn't mention this, but I have mentioned it in previous rebuilds. No more than 3 free agents a window. That stops us going crazy, as we have a 5-star scout, Ivan Gutierrez. Please help us out, mate. As for season number 1, like I always bloody say, the first and best scout goes to the place the team is in. We are scouting in Spain, as a 4-4-2 in Spain is weird. So first things first, I've got to go with tiki taka. And actually, after checking, our players do suit a 4-4-2, but I'm gonna change it up, putting some flair with a cam and CDM in, as that's everybody fitting the team and everybody in their suited positions. As the player that stands out mostly probably is Cruz. Then we have Cantero, who I believe used to be a young star, as this man definitely is. We've got Senhaji, 19, who is only on loan, and I've just realized that, god damn it. As speaking of loans, we are going to loan a lot of players out to make sure they grow, but in the meantime get a CDM, as is the best thing to do, actually sign from Barcelona, Mark Bernal. Now he hasn't got a player in-game face, but I'll shove the evaluation at him, hopefully signs a contract, as here he is, our first signing over in Spain with the worst team, or the lowest team in fact, is from one of the best in Barcelona. Brilliant signing in, but I just realized that took all our money up. So I'm gonna sell a few players like Waldo just for some spare change. As I have just realized as well, I do have it on sterling, not actually euros here in Spain, as we're loaning out players. My bad, but hopefully we won't have to spend much more this season, as we can rely on the academy with some very decent talent. Very good academy, and I will show you. I've loaned most of those. Like Signs, the goalkeeper, only 17. We've got Gonzalez, 17, and he's gone all the way to Belgium, but he's not as good as the man currently at the club, Maldonado. On Maldonado, we kept him as the stats for this season. Let's have a look. Cantero, the top scorer, and I'm celebrating because he's our youngest. Didn't want the old players scoring because their ratings obviously don't go up. And, ooh, 21. Sabina, I haven't heard of him. He cannot have been in the first team, as Bernal hasn't played much, but then again, another good thing, Cruz, our right mid, cruising the way he's going about his business, as Sabina is in the middle of the reserves, and he somehow got the game time. That's actually brilliant, but you know what is more brilliant? If you do leave a like on the video, 1k likes unlocks another Spanish team. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. We are desperate to hit 50k before January the 1st. And that is going to be a challenge, as the first challenge is beaten. Not finishing bottom, as it's 13th for Tenerife. A number unlucky for some, as where did we get in the Copa de España? We did get to the quarterfinals, and then we lost to Real Betis. Unlucky, as we're not, of course, in the playoffs in this league, but we aim to be there soon, as that's a good first season. And also a very quick season. We did need to get the ball rolling, as we are selling or releasing some of our very old players here. Kinda desperate to get rid of these 4 because they're just taking up bench space. And ultimately, well, we do have a lot of players, which we still aim to add to, as somehow gifted 8 million. Don't ask how, why, or where that's even come from. But I can tell you the first thing we're doing, we're going straight to Gutierrez and letting him go and search the Spanish region again. And why not? I've gone ahead and paid for another scout because we can afford one. This time going Portugal, which I know is the neighbouring country. But if we can sign someone Portuguese who works in the Spanish league, I think we'd be quite lucky to though, but that would be a good thing for this team. As down in the reserves, anybody to add, we've got Sipsic, who I believe was out on loan away from the club last year. He can go into the defence, as I don't think things are working in the midfield, and also Sabina, could we replace him? I just think with the money we've got, we probably could. And we've got Maldonado at the club, but here's Machanda. He's at a big club in racing, only 19 though, potential, and we actually can afford him with his contract seizing up. As what a signing. Instead of bringing a Portuguese to the club, we're actually bringing a Uruguayan, which reminds me of Luis Suarez, who actually won't be alone though, because I feel bad dragging him all the way to Spain. So in comes another Uruguayan, Herrera, as centre-back. A little bit less potential though, but we did get him for cheaper than we could have done, and I'm always happy with that, and plus we needed to save some money. Bernal survives in the team for an extra season, as we've got to pay contracts to the first team and also the youth we're bringing through. Some very good players, as I've got most of them out on loan, and most of them doing well. We've got Menendez at Preston, De Mesquites at Leganes, I believe that are in our league, or Levante, I mean, sorry, as then also Nacho Moya. We can see his stats. He's got 4 goals in 15 games as an 18-year-old, but we've got better players at the club. Machado, oh my days. Now, he has scored 11 goals, but when you do look at his rating, that's +9. He's had a very good season, as the team has on the whole, but you might realise something about our right-hand side here. No Cruz in the squad. We've got Guerreiro, and also we've loaned a lot of players out, but that is a very loose team. We started with 41 players, now we're into the 30s, and we've got £15 million. That's no coincidence. As one thing that is extremely difficult about managing in Spain is all the bloody release clauses. Look at the players we've lost. At least we've got a decent academy, which is still giving us players through as 10th in the league. It's increasing, but it's not there yet. As a round of 16 appearance again, losing to Oviedo though. Not the worst thing in the world, as we've now got to step it up a notch. And in season number 3, does that mean scrapping the academy? Because we need to put some money into our actual players now. We've only bought 3, and you can see Machado was a good buy, Bernal was an okay one, and Herrera a bit of a failure. Still, we've got the players down here to make up our team, including Pereira, who I didn't see before. Very good rating. Only 23, you know, and the best thing about being here in Spain, the board actually let us keep the money we have made last season, and that'll go a long way, as for one season and one season only, I'm not using that academy because I'm focusing on buying talent. And positionally, well, it's gotta be the right hand side, maybe replace Dauda, and maybe replace the centre-backs. We don't have any good youth centre-backs, so we could probably do with some of those, as the first man I'm looking at is Stelios Andreu, signing him from Charleroi, and I'm hoping he can be here long term, as I'm also hoping this man is here long term, as back to back we sign a superhero Ant-Man from Go Ahead Eagles. As there's our new fixed up team, we've got 2 very good players in, and still, believe it or not, 7 million to spend. As I am wary of contracts, including Sands, who should be a future keeper. Maybe get him out on loan, it's just the release clauses I'm worried about. And big players like Teto, I might have to renew. Make sure they can't be stole, as I'm sorry, I'm just thinking defenders again. We've got 3 good strikers at the club, we've got youth players growing on the wings, and I'm trying to look around leagues where you might not expect players to be hiding, such as in the Norwegian league. We do have Andreas Christiansen, who I am going to actually deny release clause for in Spain, as the centre-back version of Haaland joins Tenerife on a cheap fee, and I'm hoping this season, could it be promotion? Yes, it has to be promotion this year, as the first thing I'm going to check is have we actually lost some players, and we have Alves and Guerrero. At least that's actually it. So we've lost 2 players to release clauses, and we haven't lost anyone good. Get in, we should have our best players. As this is the current squad, and you can see it's very tired at the end of the year. Machado 81, we've got Teto also 81. Down in the reserves as well, we've got Demesquites, the youth player, who does go into this team, and look how good that looks. As if that isn't promoted, I'm genuinely going to be angry, and you can see it is third, 3 points off top spot, but that wasn't automatic, as of course we're not winning this trophy. Round of 32 this year of the Copa de España, and in the semi-finals it's a huge win over Zaragoza, meaning Real Sporting is the team we'll face in the finale, and it goes our way. You can see 3-2 on aggregate, means the worst team in Spain and now in the best division there. And what about player stats? I think I already know where we sign next year. Right back, as it's Sabina with the most goals, 23-year-old, 75 rated, and then Machado 21 hitting an 81. Yeah, strikers aren't an option. We've also got a decent player on the bench. As we know where we sign this year, it just has to be at right back. Medina is a good player, and I'm sure he's going to be a good backup, but do we really need him right now? And do we continue with our academy? Because that is where he come from. It all depends on our budget. And under 30 million in the top division may be hard to survive upon. So yes, maybe again we just say goodbye to using our scouting network. For youth players that is, but definitely not our overall scouts. As they've been bringing in good players, but I'm going to go myself right here and search for a right back, because I do have a player in mind. And an actual real player this time. We haven't got any Brazilian flair here. So I'm going to try and sign Arthur, who's a right back predominantly in his final year of contract, and we should be able to afford him. Go on, just over 10 million. Let's have a steal on this 24-year-old. And that's exactly what we get. So welcome to the club, Arthur. I'm hoping he's best at right back, but I wouldn't mind moving him if we're actually required to, but his shooting isn't too good, nor is his passing, so I think right back's the best slot. As my next thought for this team, well, first I want to see how young our players are, because I was thinking about replacing Bernal, the CDM. But with Pereira 24, yes, he's done well on his loan out, but if we actually sell him out the club, use the money we've got and the money we make, we could actually sign a big player. The only problem is we're not getting bids. We are for Machado from some very decent clubs right here, but I just keep on rejecting them. We need to survive in this league, and I feel the best way to do so is actually stay with the players we've got and just loan out the youth, like Fran Navarro. He didn't do too well last season. Same with this man, German Maldonado, who we actually went and sold, and we've also sold Medrano. And finally, Pereira, he gets a move to Sevilla, and our budget gets a move back up to 29 million, which in my opinion is enough to go and get another world superstar. The only issue is it's another bloody youth player. We will sign some real life players very shortly, in fact. But for now, all we can afford is players just slowly rising. So welcome to the club, Kimura. Probably more than we wanted to pay, as hopefully his potential can carry us to survival. As every single player should have printed in their forehead, in the inside of their forehead, an eyelid survival, as that is what we've grabbed, and we've done it very emphatically. 11th in La Liga. That is perfect. The other teams coming up, who actually finished above us, now going down as Getafe. They went and won the Copa de España, as we crashed out to Granada in the round of 16 this year. Getting quite consistent here, just need to make that next step. Then we might land ourselves winning a cup, as this team looks a very good team. You can see we've got some 80s, some 79s, but the place we've got to watch is the bench at this current moment in time, because only one striker in reserve Moya, which, let's be honest, doesn't look good. You don't really trust him to score goals, although he did get 8 as the other 2 got 15. Goals for Kimura and Ant-Man, very nice, as we do have a striker to come back in Ethan next year. And it's a good job he's coming back, as 30 million for this season, and that is very low. Very low, and I'm going to tell you why. As last year I thought, screw it, I'm going to let some older and youth players that haven't worked run out of contract, but you can see we've not got any players left. As my first protocol was to sell this man, Ant-Man, or we might have to just keep him now, but at least replace him in the starting 11. And I wanted to actually replace him with Kimura, our current player, 2 weeks to a right mid, and I do have a cam in mind. But to sign the cam, again, we'll need more money than we've currently got as a bid in for Ant-Man. Okay, we might actually have to sell him. As Union, 16 million, please. You've got to give us that money. And there he is leaving as we do get our evaluation. Giving us 40 million pounds now. That's a lot more to spend in the top division. As I've got that player in mind, but will he take us to the promised land of European football? Not even asking for Champions League, as a man currently in it is Ansu Fati. What a brilliant signing this would be. I think we should be able to afford him. 35 million. Go on with a high sell-on clause, as that has been accepted. But in the meantime, Kimura, we will change him, and his rating doesn't increase. And brilliant, Ansu goes and rejects our contract. So no, we don't get our star man, who I really wanted to sign this season. So instead, making a big move, probably a shocking move for Leipzig, going and getting his backup in Asan Ouedraogo. This little wonder kid hopefully makes all the difference for us. As by the way, where's our man? Where's Ethan gone, who was out on loan? Okay, so he's still at Nottingham Forest on a loan, which I'm going to recall him from. 99k. I need him back for this first game soon, as he can go and start up front in a very good first team, but that bench severely neglected. And I have to say right now, I hope you guys are enjoying watching this save, because honestly doing this save is starting to really frustrate me. Release clauses are a thing, and I could not take it out of Ethan's contract. 1.8 million. He's walked to Villarreal, basically on a free, and he would have been in our starting 11, and we could have got 30 million for him. We've just thrown money down the drain whilst having 19 players ourselves. 19. That's it. Spanish football, why? Why do we have to have release clauses? Even when I'm negotiating myself, they're integrated into the contracts of these players, as we've got some very decent ones. Machado's now 86, only 23. Very nice. Then Ouedraogo's done very well. And also the centre-back Christiansen. He's one of our main men, and apart from having a weak bench at the moment, the starting 11 is good. Very good. Better than last year. As goals are better than last year, it is 20 by Machado. As can we keep him here very long? Because clubs probably want him now. But do we want to keep him? Because in our second season, UEFA Europa League, it's not Champions League, but it's a goddamn improvement above Atletico Madrid, who unfortunately win the Copa de España. We were out in the round of 16 again to Sociedad. Another team we finished above, as please give us a bigger budget next year for a starting keeper and for a stronger bench. As finally a bigger budget, we've got 81 million pounds, finally getting some money for finishing higher in La Liga. As I'm actually intrigued, where do the board want us to finish? Champions League group stage? I don't believe we're in the UCL. Or I didn't believe we were in it. We must be with that objective. Very good from this squad, but this squad that has to get better. As again, look at the bench. We don't even have 9 players on it. Only the 8 right there, and that's really gonna cost us. Having no experience off the bench, as actually I've got an idea. Free agent maybe. Now I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm gonna check through this long list, see if anybody's bench worthy, and then if we have 70 million left over, we go and spend it on some first team players, as here's the bench one. The first one's this man. Miguel was his first name, as the second one, Alex Cardero. 2 good ones right there, but don't forget there was a 3 free agent rule, as this guy's the final one, Pablo Navas. 20-year-old, 79 rated, good potential. Just unfortunately enough, he's competing with Victor. As that's the bench kind of improved, it's the best we could do with our rules. As now we move to the first team, and of course we can drop these down. For example, if we do replace Andrew, he goes onto the bench as a centre-back, and we get a player higher than 82 to replace him in the first team. But it's not him we want to replace. We want to replace the keeper with Jelavic, who looks very good for the future, and just accepted a bid of 19 million as we get an offer for our current keeper, 22 million pounds. Or I thought that was the case anyway, but he has rejected our deal. So we're going to go keeper shopping again once we've sold our current one. As there is Carrasco, he's chosen Celta Vigo. And we've chosen Bart Verbruggen of Brighton. Or in this save's case, he's coming from PSG. A terrific goalkeeper who selling Carrasco allowed us to get. As maybe selling Andreu allows us to get a better centre-back. Yes, it is a league rival we're selling him to in Barcelona, but that amount of money for an 82 rated, too good to turn down. As I'm moving on to another Dutchman. To join Bart Verbruggen is hopefully Sven Botman, as he's joining us for 39 million, not all our money, as the other half of the share goes into a CDM. Welcome Martel. He didn't get a good introduction, but he's 28 years old. And he's 83 overall. Not much improvement in him, but some other players like Wedrago and Machado, almost touching the 90s, is very good. As I've seen Christiansen, he's actually stalling a little bit. As how have I just noticed how nice the kit is as well? Very nice, I've got to say, as our top scorer's not gone up much, but Kimura and Sabina actually both with 20. That is a lot of goals, you know, and we've been in a lot of competitions. But CD Tenerife have gone and won the La Liga. Yes, I tried to make that rhyme, but we've gone ahead of the El Clasico teams, and Tenerife somehow winning La Liga. At the third time of asking, and oh my god as well, we've won the Copa de España. We're dominating Spain. Unreal. And oh my days, we haven't got the best team of all teams. All players, I don't know what I'm saying, but still, we finished second in the league phase. That's of the Champions League, as then we went through to Monaco. Yeah, work to be done in Europe, understandable. With 29 million left, have we actually gone and lost a player? Doesn't look like it, no. We haven't lost anybody to a pre-contract or release clause, whatever, as we've got to make sure Teto doesn't leave. But then again, 84, probably one of the weakest in the squad. But still would be harsh to sell him. He's been here from the bloody start, as this team's only getting started, because now we've got to win the UCL. As what we into now, Season 7, I believe. It's always Season 7 where we usually get our luck. But we've got to create our luck, and we've got to spend our money. 119 million, as who won the UCL last year? Well, judging by the Super Cup, I believe it will have been Paris, or maybe Napoli, but still, I think Paris are the team to beat. I mean, we did take their keeper last year, but I only just realised they do have Donnarumma, and they do have this man, Ricky. So to beat them head-to-head, it's going to be one hell of a challenge. As I think the first challenge is, again, getting some youth for the bench. Or maybe not even youth, but again, going to the free agents, because Dawson, come on. We can't be in the UCL with him. Wouldn't make much sense, although he is a La Liga winner. I want someone stronger, and Daryl DK is definitely that. As welcome Daryl, he's come from West Brom's release. And weirdly enough, he comes with Louis Barry, a player I just grabbed for the bench, as there he sits, who actually has been in La Liga before with Barcelona. So not fully unrealistic, as this man isn't as well. Roger Fernandez, if we can bring him from Milano to our La Liga winning side, as I've always said I wanted a Portuguese player, and this man would sit ahead of a Portuguese left back. Really want him in, but he's gone and rejected our deal, as him rejecting the bid just reminds me of another player to reject us. As how are you doing, Ansu? It looks like your potential isn't working out there. Playing for Leipzig in the Bundesliga. Come back home. We need you, as hopefully he could switch it up a little by becoming a left mid and fixing our problems with Teto, because I just don't have faith in him. And Ansu's a year younger, and of course he can unlock potential. But for now, he's sat on the bench as a cam for Wedraugo, who used to be his backup, but now is the first choice. And it serves you right, Ansu Fati, for rejecting us the first time as 73 million for some bench players. Come on. Need some backup talent, so El Chadil's the first one. And then Elia Caprile as a backup goalkeeper. A very good one at that, as look at the transformation on the bench and also in the first team with this God squad. As Champions League again, I'm hoping we've reached the final this time, as I'm going to show you that first, because there was some wild teams in it. Yes, I already kind of know what's going on by checking this table, as look at this. I mean, look at the top half. Lazio, Salzburg are in it, and just look at the teams around the playoff round. As we go ahead and win our game against PSV 4-1. Then we beat Leverkusen on penalties, a squeeze. As look at the quarter-final teams, we do beat Bayern Munich though. Chelsea out, Napoli out, even Wolfsburg are out at this rate. As then in the semi-finals, we end up beating West Ham United. And we do have Stade Rennais in the final. Can you believe it? The French side, who aren't even the best French side. As to be fair though, we aren't even the best Spanish side. With a second place finish to Villarreal of all teams. We do win the Supercopa though. Can we have that as a trophy? I might just squeeze it in there. But if not, it doesn't matter. As we also made a final of the Copa de España, losing to Sevilla, and I would have rather won that one. Still, what are you gonna do? As this is what our team does look like. Christiansen in there, we've got Wedrago, Machado. In fact, 290 rated strikers, one that started at the club. And in terms of scoring, he was the top scorer. As Ansu Fati, unfortunately on the bench, he did not manage to break into this team, as we need to break this team out on the winning side of this UCL finale. As Robin on the ball for Stade Rennais. I just can't believe we're playing them, as we've lost the ball straight away. They might get the first chance here. Martel brings the ball away though onto Machado. Come on, Machado. The better version of Suarez as he keeps on the run, does our 90 rated. Look at the turn. Bought him as a youngster from Argentina. And that should have been a goal. We should be 1-0 up already in our 7th and usually lucky season 7, but this is a run for them. And that is a good tackle, no? Don't think it's gonna be, as, oh my days, it's just a warning. Very lucky not to get sent off, our left back. Masquites. João Pedro he took out, as the free kick's going to be Riders. It's off the post and bounces. We might have got the block in there. And we did, but it was offside. Still very good work to block it. As now Kimura, the captain, cuts inside with the ball onto Sabina. He should probably be the captain. The man's been here from the start. As he tries a chance from range, and now Wedrago needs a ball through. That's a good pass as well. Into Kimura, right side of the defender. If he can put it across the box. Into Sabina again. 2 huge chances for our Spanish star, or should be star, as please win that header. Handball. That was an obvious block, that one. Stopped Machado on the run, but still he's got the ball as Machado. Into Arthur with the tricky feet. Still getting the ball away. It's our right back, Arthur, and he scores off the post. We are beating Stade Rennais just before the half-time mark. And if you would have asked me who's the man to score the goal, I would have never said Arthur. I believe I said his shooting was bad. Yes, when we talked about his positioning at the start, I said he'd not be a good right mid because his shooting was low. Then he goes and pulls that off. I can't believe he's just scored it, but still we need an extra goal. Stade Rennais we should be killing off. As Kimura through the middle, he's slightly out wide. If he could get that across the box, Sabina taps it in. The man from the start doing the flips in the UCL finale, and I think it should be game done. Still, This is on a knife edge. As they started the better in this game, and that is a brilliant tackle, Martel. Still, we might go for more. The more they open up, the more chances we try and take. As look at the footwork here from Sabina. Doing it all himself, and Machado's not helping out, but he's done a sweet turn, and he goes off the crossbar. What a chance for 3. As now Christiansen, that's a good interception. Kimura through the middle onto Martel. We're Drago. We're playing this round with confidence. Waiting for the run of Kimura, and he's got it, the assist king. Can he return it to Sabina? He can. Through on goal in the last minutes of the game. It is saved. Drago, can now we get it into the goal? We don't with Teto, our day 1 winger, but we have done it. Tenerife win the UCL, and we've turned the worst club in Spain to the best one. As we've just seen the trophy go into the cabinet, but it's now in the hands of our winger, who was such a good signing. All the way back in our first season in La Liga. As speaking of La Liga, if you do want another Spanish club, comment who below, and I will get on to them.